January 4th, 2017.
A reading from the first letter of St. John. Children, let no one deceive you. The person who acts in righteousness is righteous, just as he is righteous. Whoever sins belongs to the devil, because the devil has sinned from the beginning. Indeed, the Son of God was revealed to destroy the works of the devil. No one who is begotten by God commits sin, because God's seed remains in him. He cannot sin because he is begotten by God. In this way, the children of God and the children of the devil are made plain. No one who fails to act in righteousness belongs to God, nor anyone who does not love his brother. The word of the Lord.
Responsorial Psalm. The response is, all the ends of the earth have seen the saving power of God. Sing to the Lord a new song, for he has done wondrous deeds. His right hand has won victory for him, his holy arm. All the ends of the earth have seen the saving power of God. Let the sea and what fills it resound, the world and those who dwell in it. Let the rivers clap their hands, the mountains shout with them for joy before the Lord. All the ends of the earth have seen the saving power of God. The Lord comes, he comes to rule the earth. He will rule the world with justice and the peoples with equity. All the ends of the earth have seen the saving power of God.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. John was standing with two of his disciples, and as he watched Jesus walk by, he said, "Behold, the Lamb of God." The two disciples heard what he said and followed Jesus. Jesus turned and saw them following him and said to them, "What are you looking for?" They said to him, "Rabbi," which translated means teacher, "where are you staying?" He said to them, "Come and you will see." So they went and saw where he was staying, and they stayed with him that day. It was about 4 p.m. Andrew, the brother of Simon Peter, was one of the two who heard John and followed Jesus. He first found his own brother Simon and told him, "We have found the Messiah," which is translated Christ. Then he brought him to Jesus. Jesus looked at him and said, "You are Simon, the son of John. You will be called Cephas," which is translated Peter. The Gospel of the Lord.
January 4th. The first reading comes from the first letter of John, chapter 3, verses 7 to 10. I've been saying all along throughout these weeks that the first letter of John is very dualistic, contrasts good and evil. And here we see a very powerful example of that dualism. We either belong to Jesus or we belong to the devil. There's no in between. If we belong to the devil, then we're going to do the works of the devil. We're going to sin. We're going to live in sin and be pleased with it. If we do the works of the children of God, then we will be loving, we will be living in God's love. Notice it's black or white. There's no grays in this whatsoever. It's interesting, though, that in the first chapter of the letter of John, it did speak about a little bit of the gray. The fact that we shouldn't sin anymore. But if we do sin, Jesus will be our advocate. So even though theologically it wants to say that you either are good or evil, pastorally it has to admit that some days it's a little of one and a little of the other. The Gospel is from John 1, 35 to 42. We've been hearing about the witness of John the Baptist. Now we hear about two disciples who follow Jesus, asking who he is. They follow him, and one of them, Andrew, tells Simon Peter, his brother, that he has found the Messiah. Messiah is translated in Greek as the Christ. It means the anointed one. And we're not talking about a king or a priest who was anointed as in the Old Testament. We're talking about the chosen one whom God has sent to save Israel. Well, as soon as Jesus meets him, he calls Simon Cephas, which is translated in the Latin and Greek as Peter, which means the rock. Now, it's never really explained in the Gospel of John why he's called the rock. In the Gospel of Matthew, we hear he's the rock because he's the solid foundation on which the church is built. Here it's a bit ambiguous, and the way that Peter is treated in the Gospel, especially contrasted with the beloved disciple, we can almost say that it might mean something like that he's a little hard-headed. In fact, Cephas in Aramaic means rock. Cephas in Greek means head. And it might be a little bit of a wordplay, the rocky head, that Peter doesn't quite get it. The Gospel of John tends to say that Peter is a good Christian, but the beloved disciple is what we really should want to be. And may God bless us.